What's up, everybody? So in today's video, I've made my way down to Foreign Cars Charlotte. We are swapping the GT-R out for a Lamborghini Huracan. That is going to be a ton of fun to drive it. They have it inside the showroom right now, so let's just walk in. They have a few really sweet cars in here right now. 650S that I drove in a previous video, you'll definitely have to check that one out. Some nice Ferraris in here, but then we got the Huracan tucked away in the back. Really good as we pull it outside. Alright guys, so we got the Huracan out in the sunlight. This metallic orange looks amazing in the sunlight. Not sure if it comes off on camera, but that is a really nice color. So this is the LP610-4 all-wheel drive model. Got the black wheels, carbon ceramic brakes. So full leather interior with all orange stitching on it, really nicely spec'd car. But yeah, so that is the Huracan. We're gonna slap up the GoPro, take this thing out for a spin and see what this thing has to offer. So here's the trunk space. That is definitely a little small. Hopefully my camera bag can fit nicely in this. All right, moment of truth. Camera bag in the Huracan is about all we have. So camera bag, you can maybe fit a lunchbox and then something very small. A lot different than in the R8 and quite a lot different than the GT-R. So yeah, the Huracan sounds pretty good. That classic V10, the pops and everything. Now it's time to hit the road in the Lamborghini Huracan. I'm gonna take this thing for a spin. First time driving into one of these, using the turn signal that's on the steering wheel, a little bit weirder getting used to. But so far, the view out the front, you have a pretty good amount of visibility. The roofline is a little bit lower than like your typical car, but it's really cool how if you look over your left shoulder, you actually have a ton of visibility. And then over your right shoulder, it's not too bad either. So right now we're just straight up in automatic mode in Strada. So we'll go ahead and just put it into sport mode. You got a little bit more aggressive in automatic, and then pressing the M button, we're now in manual mode. Nice little rev match and downshift. Letting off the gas, there's a lot of cracks and pops in it. That is really sweet sounding. So one thing cool with the Huracan, there's a lot of Audi in here. Like all of the climate controls and the radio controls is straight up from an Audi, so it's really easy to use and really pretty familiar for you. So doing a small acceleration, you can feel how the naturally aspirated V10 is just so linear. Like comparing it with the GT-R, I mean that has the turbo power that kicks you in the back like mid revs. This thing just, that was a slow acceleration. It just slowly gets up to speed very smooth. And then the twin clutch gearbox, pretty sure a lot of people have said this is like one of the best transmissions. It is buttery smooth, even just a few downshifts. The second that I let off the right paddle shifter, it already changed gears. Like it's that quick, and that's not even flooring it. Comparing it with the GT-R, that one, when you're on it, it shifts really quick, but when you drive it slower, the transmission is a lot slower. So in sport mode, that is really cool, like how responsive this thing is already feeling. And then as we just drive now, I'm in 7th gear. You know, it's actually a pretty comfortable car. You can feel some of the bumps. It's a very stiff car, of course, but actually just driving it as if it were a daily driver, it's pretty comfortable. The seats are a little bit harder than other seats that I've been in, like comparing it with the McLaren or the Ferrari, but honestly, they're pretty comfortable once you get them in a really good position. But overall, just like cruising it around town now, even when we're back into automatic, All right, so putting it in automatic in sport mode, that is very aggressive. We'll put it in Strada. It's a lot more docile now, but that is pretty neat how even if it is an automatic in one of the race mode settings, it's still going to be pretty aggressive if you are hitting the track or the mountains with the car. But we're going to stick with manual mode just because that is way better. And we'll keep it in sport. And we'll do a little bit of an acceleration again. It's hard to say how quick that shifts. Like, you don't really feel any shift. It's just you let off the paddle and it's already in the other gear, already on the power. That is really responsive. So just coming to a stop, rev matching downshifts sound awesome in this thing. And one thing, the paddles are really cool feeling. They're aluminum feeling, they have a good sturdy feel, and they kind of have a sharp edge to them, so they actually gives you a lot of grip when you're going through the gears. And of course, being steering column mounted, when you are in the track turning the steering wheel, your hand is still going to find them, so it's not like you're fighting to try to find where the shifter is. So we are coming up to a little underpass. We'll do a small acceleration.
Hey, that's nice.
Appreciate it.
How fast will it go?
200 plus?
Yeah. I think it's a lot of attention too.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, a bright orange Lamborghini gets you some attention.
Appreciate it.
With the windshield so low, it is actually kind of hard to see, but not too bad. It's the longest light ever. Now that sounds good. Yeah, that kind of engine I don't think would get old. That sounds really good. It even popped a little bit, downshifting. Wow. Unfortunately, we had a red light, so I had to stop again, but that is a good sounding car. So I'm now in Corsa mode, and actually it kicks you a little bit in the back, which I like, because I really like the drama you get with any kind of supercar. It just adds to the thrill and the differenceness, if that's even a word, to what a supercar has to offer versus like a normal sports car. But in Corsa mode, just adds that little bit of extra fun factor. Not that you need extra fun in a Lamborghini, but I like the little touch of kicking you in the upshifts. Yeah, every time you let off the gas, it just pops and bangs with the exhaust. That is sounding really good. So then back on some slow roads, we'll go ahead and put it all the way into Strada and put it in automatic. And you can just kind of feel how the car just kind of tones down a little bit. It's not aggressive at all in the gear changes. You know, it's a pretty easy car to drive. I would say obviously anybody could drive this. It's definitely a lot different than the GT-R, and once again, the transmission is just buttery smooth in it, so I really like how it's really comfortable to drive when you're just driving it normal. The steering wheel has a really cool feel to it. It's a flat bottom design. It's a little bit taller than it is wide, so it's more of a square shape, and it has kind of more people giving this thing the thumbs up. It gets a lot of attention. But the steering wheel, yeah, it comes out a little bit right here. Gives you a pretty good grip on it. Your thumbs have a nice notch to it. Even your pointer fingers have a good little spot to hold when you're not on the paddles. Alright guys, so we are actually going to properly drive in the Huracan. We have some nice little country roads here. We're keeping it in Corsa and manual, of course. I definitely like Corsa mode, it just gives you that drama. I love how linear it is. Like, it's just a car that just goes as far as like the revs go. The higher you go in the revs, the more power there is. It's just a super smooth delivery. It's a really tight vehicle. You can feel the bumps in the road, you can feel every little groove. You really do feel very connected. And then as far as the steering goes, it is definitely a lot tighter in the higher speeds. I know when the car came out, I think it's like electronic power steering with a variable system in it, and a lot of people weren't too sure if it was going to be a good steering rack or not. But it totally feels a lot different in the higher speeds. In Corsa mode, it's tighter. There's really little input I have to put on the wheel, and the car's doing whatever I want. Around town though, like in the parking lot, it was just buttery smooth, had no weight to it. The downshifts. And the cracks with the exhaust. last acceleration there was a little bit higher in the revs. You can feel just the engine just builds and builds. Before I was short shifting around like 5,000 RPM. I'm so used to with the GT-R with the twin turbos, it's like power at 3 to 5, and that's about it. This one though, that just rips all the way up. All right, so getting on the highway, we'll go to second gear. Wow. So that's something I did not do before, which was give it a little bit more gas than half throttle, but that really took off. That was impressive. Wow, like that literally felt kind of like turbo power, like above 6,000, it just rips. Like that was about third gear, avoiding a tire in the road. Wow, the higher RPM. Wow, that is impressive. Okay, that's a lot of power. It's funny comparing it to the Ferrari 458, which is very similar with a naturally aspirated engine. With the V10, you just have more power. We're talking around 600 horsepower. That's a pretty good amount of power, and it's all top end, like I just noticed. That just, wow. Man, oh man. The car on the highway is a little noisy. Not really any wind noise or anything. I'm yelling a little bit. I think it's just, this is not the best road right now. But as far as just the overall comfort with it, it is a car you can just drive on some long journeys. The seat is a little bit stiffer, so it might take a little bit getting used to it, but the armrests on the door in the center, you know, it's a pretty easy car to just fit in comfortably. I really like the left visibility. That window is so big, and for a car like this, it's kind of comforting to know you can really see out. And then the turn signal being on the steering wheel is a lot like my motorcycle, so I'm very used to it. So overall, it is a car you can drive a lot, and I mean, I like it. The acceleration was impressive. The 458 is a really quick car, but this takes it to a next step. This is a fast car, and I mean, it shows with, of course, the 0 to 60 numbers, the launch control figures, and even just the handling and everything. I like it. You could almost daily drive it. Not the most storage space, but this is a sweet car. This car kind of blew me away. I was a little like skeptical, would I actually like it, or would I go back and say, man, I really like the McLaren the best. But honestly, I like this thing a lot. It has a lot to offer as we pass the GT-R, but man, I can see why so many people are buying these in the supercar world. So we just did the front end lift so we can squeeze through some tighter areas. That is a must for any type of supercar. But one thing that's really cool with these things, you see them on YouTube. These cars get supercharged, driven 20, 30,000 miles easy, and nothing happens. These are bulletproof supercars that you can actually buy one, drive it however you would like. You can daily drive it. It's kind of just an Audi underneath as far as reliability goes. It's not that crazy to maintain. It's something that you can truly just drive exactly the way you want. But yeah, unfortunately, we're back at the dealer and got to hand the keys back. But Lamborghini Huracan, what do you guys think? Comment below, what supercar would you pick up? I think the Huracan, I'm torn right now between the McLaren and the Huracan because I actually do like this thing a lot. It'll be pretty interesting. Anyway, guys, that wraps up today's video. Once again, huge thank you to Foreign Cars Charlotte. They provided this beautiful Lamborghini for today's video. I'll have the link to their website in the description below. Definitely check them out. They have a huge selection of used supercars like this, and then a brand new selection of Aston Martins, Maseratis, Bentleys, and Alfa Romeos. So definitely check them out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a huge thumbs up, smash the subscribe button. We'll see you guys next video.